You know what's always a fun, light-hearted topic to bring a smile to the face of everybody in the room? That's right, race. So let's dive right in.
So, white people are afraid of me.
I'm not afraid of you, you generalizing cunt. Do you want to fight? Is that what you want? Very well, my good man. Follow me outside and we'll fight with Queensberry rules.
Hey guys, how are you? Great, that's awesome.
Oh my god, why are you doing it like this?
So I was walking home from work, sleepy, tired, and ready to eat like 500 tacos.
500, you say? Well, I know you're a bigger lad, but that's still a lot. Or is that just an exaggeration and the kind of accuracy we can expect from your video?
And there was a man about 2.5 yards in front of me. And he starts constantly looking behind him and started walking faster. Now I thought, is there something behind me? Like, what is he looking at? Oh, wait a minute. Does he think I'm following him?
Maybe he was a paranoid schizophrenic on the verge of having a breakdown. Did you even think about that? No, you fucking didn't, you ableist cunt.
Now, I was only walking behind him for like 10 seconds when he started getting super paranoid.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this right. You were behind him for 10 seconds. In this time, he managed to, as you put it, constantly look round at you, giving you the impression that he thought you were following him. Now, to look at somebody enough over their shoulder to give you the impression that he was constantly looking at you in only the space of 10 seconds would be very difficult unless he was an owl. Maybe he thought he recognized you? Did you ask him to find out for sure that he thought you were following him? Or are you just assuming, expecting us all to believe your story without you knowing all the information behind it yourself?
And may I remind you, it was on a very open street with restaurants and people all around us.
Why the fuck are you reminding me? You didn't say this at all before. You're not reminding me, you're telling me. And if there were indeed people all around you, how do you know he wasn't looking at somebody else as you originally hypothesized? And quite frankly, if you were behind me doing that big arms Jesus Last Supper pose, I'd speed up too.
And the police station is literally on that street.
Oh, it's literally there. It's literally on that street. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not theoretically on that street? Literally. Okay, let's literally continue with the video.
Anybody was trying to follow and attack you on that street, then they would be a very stupid person trying to get in jail. So I felt bad, so I slowed down, but that didn't stop his paranoia.
It didn't? You see, I find that interesting. It's yet more evidence to suggest that you weren't the root cause of his paranoid behavior.
So we're like walking past a bunch of group of people. I'm about 5 yards away from him, and I'm constantly looking at my phone. I'm doing whatever I can to make it seem like I am not dangerous.
Perhaps he was looking back at you thinking, this guy's trying to look far too casual. He's up to something. And I'd like to just take this moment to remind you that your video is entitled Why Black Lives Matter Exists. So you say that Black Lives Matter only exists because a few paranoid white people may look over their shoulders at black people from time to time. Yeah, it's hardly putting black lives in danger.
Yet this man was not having it. So he then sharply cuts through an alleyway, which is actually the same alleyway I walk through when I go home. But instead, I decided to be courteous and walk around the alleyway, and when I got to the other side, guess what I saw? This man, white man, bald, looked like he was in his 30s, looked like he was very well off because he was dressed in work clothes. He was hiding behind a plant.
And you didn't think there might be a deeper cause in this person's life to make them act like that? To be so overcome with paranoia that they feel the need to hide in a well-lit, crowded area. And with a police station literally on that road. Perhaps you resemble somebody who mugged him or someone that did him wrong. And frankly, can you blame someone for being on their guard when there's a minority group that makes up only 13% of the population, but is responsible for nearly half of the violent crimes? Because I can't blame someone for recognizing that pattern. And to paraphrase Gavin McInnes, I'd be more pissed off at the other black people who'd stolen so many handbags that they'd created that pattern of behaviour that makes people tense around them. So people who don't do research or live in insular white communities or don't know many black people may hold those prejudices. Now personally, I don't think like that myself. I'm not racist in the least. I mean, I have a coloured television.
What do you think you're doing, Satira Christian? I run the snap racket round here, capiche?
I'll leave him alone, he's not hurting anybody.
Tits, what have I told you about interrupting me when I'm being a hard cunt?
I'm fucked if I know. My point is, stop being a hard cunt. I like the satiritician.
Yeah, I like the satirispician too, but he's on my turf.
So what? Stop being a cock. Now let's go, I just found a beehive that needs fucking up.
Next time, Satirician, things may not go so smoothly.
I was walking down the street and I turned to my left and out of the corner of my eye I see this. This is the plan. This is the man. I swear to God I was not over-exaggerating. This man was afraid of me.
There's no two ways around this, mate. You're a horrible person. You didn't think this man may have had some kind of serious mental illness? No, of course you didn't, because it's obviously you're a victim. You're black, so it must be about that.
Were my eyebrows too on fleek for him? Was my outfit so tacky that he just could not stand being around me? Maybe he was afraid of the flick of the wrist. Or maybe we can be realistic and this guy saw a black man walking down the street.
Oh, so were you the only black man on that street? That incredibly crowded street full of restaurants with a police station literally on that street? I'm guessing not, which beggars the question why he didn't react like that to any of the others and only to you.
Even though I was wearing this and had a messenger bag, he still felt like his life was in danger.
Wait, was that all you were wearing? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Mac, that would fucking terrify me as well. Because I'd probably hide behind a plant half my size too, to get away from the overly casual looking, half-naked guy doing the Jesus arm.
This is what our society has come to. I cannot go a day in my life without threatening somebody with my physical appearance alone.
So, this one example of a man who sounds mentally ill is a reflection of society in general. That's some sound logic. I wonder why the other people in the street didn't act the same way as him. Maybe they're the crazy ones.
Because he felt threatened by me, I then got scared that he was gonna jump out of the bush, attack me, and then I was gonna become another hashtag on the Black Lives Matter collection.
That's pretty paranoid. Was this guy a cop, or are you just thinking he's violent because he's a scared white guy? Would you hold these prejudices if he was a scared Chinese man? I doubt it.
I cannot control how people feel threatened about my physical appearance, nor can I control how people will act when they feel threatened.
But you see, that's the thing. You can't control what scares him, and funnily enough, neither can he. You think that fear is something we could just switch off, that people afraid of spiders should just get over it. I know what it's like, because I myself have a phobia. Well, it's not exactly a phobia. I'm scared shitless of wasps, but that's a rational fear because they can sting you. But if I hear the buzz of a wasp, I will cross the street or leave the room. I can sleep through many things. I'm frankly impossible to wake up. If the house caught fire, I'd burn to death in my sleep. But the buzz of a wasp, that does me. I'm wide awake and running for the door. It's pretty bad. Sometimes the buzz from other flies can set it off, and sometimes even distant lawnmowers. And let me tell you, that kind of crippling fight or flight isn't pleasant.
At the end of the day, my life was actually more in danger than that man.
Your life could have been in more danger. I'll concede that as a potential possibility. But when you put it forward as a fact, I draw the line. What proof do you have to offer that confirms your life was actually in danger? I'm guessing no proof, which means you can't know for sure, which also means you can't tell us that your life was definitely in more danger than his. How do you know he wasn't in the throes of some major paranoid attack, and for whatever reason ended up doing more harm to himself than anyone else? In which case, he would have been in more danger.
That is why we say Black Lives Matter.
So I'm guessing that innocent white guy you terrified on the streets' life doesn't matter? Alright, I'm just checking.
Not just for the black people that are in gangs.
So I guess the white people in gangs' lives don't matter either, huh?
Not just for the black people that sell drugs.
Well, what about those white people that sell drugs? And generally, if you sell drugs, your life is most in danger by the people you sell drugs to. If a law enforcement officer finds you, he'll arrest you, sure, but he won't kill you. And before somebody links me to a newspaper article where one guy selling drugs got shot by a police officer, that doesn't count. That's the exception to the rule as opposed to the rule itself.
Not just for the group of black people that live a corrupted lifestyle, which every race has a group that does.
Why the fuck are you talking like that? No one here has ever claimed that there is one specific perfect race. That kind of thinking went the way of Hitler.
But for people like me, a normal black American trying to live a normal life but just can't seem to get a break.
You can't get a break? From what? One guy having a paranoid attack on the street? Obviously this one event was unusual enough to stick in your memory, and unique enough to become the main topic for an entire video. And because of this one event, you can't catch a break. What about institutes like affirmative action? Black people seem to get quite nice breaks there. Everyone walking on eggshells around not only you, but every other minority with a few oversensitive crybaby dick brain idiots who cry foul over the tiniest thing. Stamping their feet and holding up a race card because somebody said something you didn't like. I won't go out of my way to offend a minority, But on the flip side of that coin, I won't ignore statistical trends that have been unchanging for years. Now, I don't think black people commit these crimes because they're more violent. That would be racist under the dictionary definition. But I do feel there are some serious social problems faced by black Americans who aren't alone in that position. There are plenty of white Americans who are in the exact same situation, but I guess we won't talk about them. So instead of screaming Black Lives Matter, why not actually try and focus on changing the root causes that lead to these clashes with the law? And once you start doing that, I'll even lend you my support.
For some reason, when one individual black person does something wrong, the blame is not just left on that individual. It is placed on the entire black community.
Let's look again at some fun statistics. The percentage of the US population that's black is 12.3%. Murder and manslaughter arrests of black people are 49.4% overall, which means the group is represented over 4 times in those statistics. 49.4% of murder arrests, 32.5% of rape, 54.9% of robbery, 24.1% of assault. In fact, the only category that isn't higher than the percentage of black people in America is the category of driving under the influence. Now, you can call me a racist for drawing attention to these statistics, I don't care. I won't simply say it's society's fault or the police just hate black people, because that won't solve anything. So why not actually try and change the foundation that leads to these figures? And then attitudes will follow, because you'll never change people's attitudes while these figures stand as they currently do.
When a black American picks up a gun and shoots somebody, all of a sudden it's all black people need to stop.
I don't think you grasp the significance of 4 times overrepresentation here.
If your lives matter, then why don't you act like it?
Has anyone actually put that forward as an argument? If Black Lives Matter, why don't you act like it? That implies to me that they don't. I completely back your reasons for being offended by something that fucking stupid.
And when a white person does the same, all of a sudden the blame is only left on that individual.
Because in most areas, white people are underrepresented in these figures. White people make up 63% of the population, so I realise it's impossible for them to be represented to up to 4 times their population, as even 100% of crimes wouldn't reach 2 times the amount. Put yourself in the shoes of other people for a minute. I realise this is a prickly issue, so I'll deal with it as delicately as I can. If you were a police officer, or even a vulnerable person, and there was a minority with crime rates that high over their current population, would you not notice a pattern in that behaviour and be a little more on guard? Maybe not walk through that neighbourhood at night? Well, only you can answer that, and I hope you would be open-minded enough to answer it honestly.
Just because a few black people have done a few bad things in the past and present does not mean I'm gonna hurt you.
I highly doubt you would hurt me, or anyone for that matter. I won't judge you based on race on a one-to-one basis. And I hope you wouldn't look at me and think, oh, a white guy, he's obviously going to be prejudiced. But my pattern-loving brain can't simply ignore these figures. But if you yourself want to contact me, I'm sure we can brainstorm some ways to actually help reduce these crime figures. And people's attitudes would follow on from that, and I would give it my complete support.
This cup is more dangerous than me. It's red, so it might be in a gang, and I shouldn't have said that with a red shirt on.
Well, again, I think that's an exaggeration. You're a big lad. I think you could do some damage if you were angry enough. More so than that cup, unless someone was maybe allergic to the plastic.
But there you go, that's my little rant. It's a daily struggle in my life to know that no matter whatever I do, whatever I accomplish, wherever I go in life, there will always be that one person that will feel threatened by me just because of the color of my skin. But it's the world we live in right now, and it's just something I had to get used to. It's sad but true.
That doesn't speak to a broader societal problem though. You'll always find someone who is apprehensive of you for anything. Women sometimes feel apprehensive around me because I'm a man. My bosses sometimes feel apprehensive around me because I'm a sarcastic cunt with a well-deserved reputation. I mean, hell, I scared the shit out of 2 Chinese ladies asking for directions to King's Cross once. Now, that wasn't because I was black, because obviously I'm not. Though while it is a shame, race will always remain a factor for a very small few. I imagine this video may have stepped on a few people's toes, as it is a very controversial issue. If you have objections with anything I've said, let me know in the comments and I will try to get around to them. But as my channel is growing quite quickly, I may miss bits. I'd also like to thank my 2 favourite bears, Sugartits and Bearing, for their contribution to this video. Keep up the good work, guys, you're both awesome. And as always, thank you for your time.